Welcome back. All right, so this is an idea that I had a while ago, and I'm wearing a baseball jersey because why not? Pittsburgh Pirates. And since I'm measuring drama, I don't remember any drama around the Pittsburgh Pirates recently, so it makes sense. But I wanted to kind of measure like markets in terms of drama and then success as well. So high success at this end, low success at this end. The drama's high here, the drama's low here. So I did my best to make sure this board will make all of the math and chart people happy, and make it as confusing as possible for everybody else. So there we go. I've got all the logos here in reverse alphabetical order, so Winnipeg is not left out. And success is this nebulous term, kind of, sort of, isn't it? So it could be you could see regular season success and Stanley Cup playoff success being different, but I'm gonna measure it as just generally the success of the franchise on the ice, and then the drama that comes along with it. So we'll start with Winnipeg. We'll go through this journey together. I don't pre-plan these like the one I did yesterday. I didn't pre-plan that. These are just for fun. So let's do this. Winnipeg starts things off. I would say in terms of drama, I'd put Winnipeg not at the bottom of the drama, not at the top. I would say in terms of success, probably not at the front in terms of success, but hey, they won the President's Trophy. So I feel like the success, they should be right about here, and drama right about there. So we in agreement? All right, this is going to be tough for people who just skip to the end. Washington. I don't feel like there's a lot of drama with Washington. I would say less drama with Washington than with Winnipeg at this point in time. I would say success, well, they were the number one team in the East, so I would say roughly the same, but I would say less drama in Washington than in Winnipeg. So that's kind of how I'm going for this here. And success, I'm leaving room here for basically Stanley Cup champions, that kind of thing. The Vegas Golden Knights. There's always drama with Vegas, but there's success as well. And the drama can be LTIR, right? Which, starting with the next collective bargaining agreement, that should go away a little bit. But they do have a recent Stanley Cup to their name as well. And dramatically speaking, Vegas definitely always has drama around that organization. Not necessarily within it. Like, it feels like everybody on the roster is happy there, and management runs things pretty well, but there's still drama around the team at various times. Vancouver. Yes, I know they're going at the top for the drama. We're basically deciding on the success side of things, aren't we? I'm going to put them here on the success because they've made the playoffs once since 2020. The drama is always really high in Vancouver, and it is part of the reason that I'm doing this today is because I feel like we've needed to quantify this for a while, and there are some teams that we definitely see that drama with. So, yeah, I would say Vancouver. They're not awful. Some would argue that they needed to do a rebuild and become awful, but it never really happened, so there you go. Utah. Utah's tough to really mark because it's been a year. I would say drama. I haven't really seen any for success. I'd put them around the same as Vancouver because they haven't made the playoffs yet, but there's no drama. There's no drama there. No reason for drama at all. Charlie Brown is basically, what kind of drama do you get with Charlie Brown? Not a lot. So yeah, I figured I can get the Charlie Brown one on the board. For a reason other than repeatedly trying to kick a football that gets pulled away. So there you go. But Utah I'm going to put at the bottom because the success for this team is yet to come, but the drama's not there. So this is not a bad rating for Utah. This is actually probably better than it would have been if I'd put Arizona on the board. The drama would have been high and the success would have been into this region over here. Toronto, success. There's been some, I would say more than Vancouver for sure, but the drama level, high. I'm going to put them in the same region as Washington and Winnipeg. So the same part of the board is like Washington and Winnipeg. A lot of drama always around Toronto. There's always a ton. And I do wonder as I go on with this if I'm going to have enough room for everybody. Well, we'll find out, won't we? But it looks a little bit sketchy already. Certain part of the board seems to be getting crowded, but I don't think it'll stay that way. Toronto, a lot of drama. There's been some success, just not necessarily Stanley Cup success. Tampa, there's been Stanley Cup success. I don't think there's been as much drama. In fact, I would say there's been less drama for Tampa than we've seen for Winnipeg or others recently. And I know people take issue with me qualifying Tampa as a success, but winning the Stanley Cup 4 years ago, to me, still qualifies as success. If you've won a Stanley Cup within 4 or 5 years, it's a pretty good level of success. So there's that. Yes, they've been eliminated from the playoffs early since the Stanley Cup final of 2022, but that was only 3 years ago. St. Louis. St. Louis, in recent years, and it has been 6 years since that Stanley Cup for St. Louis, so I don't factor that in with St. Louis. But some success, sure. I might put them ahead of Vancouver. I don't feel like there's a lot of drama in St. Louis either, so I'm going to put them right around the middle of the board. All of the talk about Kyrou being what it's been, we haven't seen anything come of it as of yet, and probably not going to. Probably won't see that. So, yeah, for St. Louis, I don't really have a whole lot to add to that, which might be a really good sign for St. Louis going forward. Seattle. Seattle hasn't quite had the success yet. We haven't really seen the drama either. I would say drama-wise, I would put Seattle right down near the bottom. But for success, I'd put them in that area as well. Just that they've only made the playoffs once in the time they've been in the National Hockey League. They did win in the first round that year, but that's the only time they've made the playoffs so far since their addition to the NHL in 2021. San Jose. No success. I wouldn't say there's been drama either, though. So I'm going to have San Jose right down here. On-ice success, not really there. The drama's not really there either. So, yeah, San Jose I'm going to put right down. You know what? I'll put it right down next to a little Grogu right here. And I got this at Disneyland if anybody's curious. If anybody wants to know. You didn't want to know? That's fine. Don't blame you. But, yeah, San Jose, I would say no drama at this point. And not really any success on the ice either, but it's coming. We're going to see that. Pittsburgh, definitely some drama. Recently, not quite as much success. I would say, based on the speculation around who's going to stay, who's going to go, Malkin, Letang, Crosby, what's going to happen with all these guys if it's Malkin's last year? What does that mean for Letang and Crosby? Etc., etc., etc. And so Pittsburgh, a little bit of drama, not a lot of success. Not making the playoffs for the last few years. Philadelphia, it does feel like with the firing of Tortorella, some of the drama went away, to be honest. But the success hasn't been there for a while either. So I'm going to put Philadelphia at this end because they haven't been in the playoffs for quite some time. And so a little bit of drama around Philadelphia, sure, at times. I think that's to be expected with the city of brotherly love. But, yeah, so I'll put them at that end. Ottawa. Ottawa's dramatic rating would drop as soon as Eugene Melnyk has passed. I think that's where we saw the drama with that change. And now with Michael Landauer, a much quieter owner. Success-wise, I'm tempted to put them in the same spot as St. Louis. Would they qualify as having more drama than St. Louis? Probably a little bit. The arena issues out there. It's still a discussion point, and with the arena issue still being a discussion point, I'll put Ottawa there. Again, success there. I do think making the playoffs has them trending in that right direction, but a little bit of drama, sure. New York Rangers, the Rangers are always dramatic. Original 6 teams are always going to generate a ton of conversation, and their success level. It's tempting to put them at the same level as Vancouver, to be honest. I would say the drama's a little bit less with the Rangers, so I'll put them here. Success-wise, I'll put them in the same region as Vancouver. That could easily change this coming season, though, if they can get their game back together and all of that. So I'll have the Rangers there. We can all disagree on that, right? Right. That would be my expectation, too. All right, the New York Islanders. There's not a lot of drama with the Islanders, really, but there's not a lot of success either. It's kind of tempting to put them at the same level as Pittsburgh. I would say a little bit less drama with the Islanders than with Pittsburgh at this point in time. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because we've been talking about free agents for months now and where they'd want to go and why. And so I wanted to do a chart on this just because, if you don't mind drama and you want success, you might want to go to, say, Vegas, Toronto. If you want to stay away from drama, you could go to San Jose if you're not worried about success side of things anyways. And we'll see if any of the teams are highly successful and we don't get drama. I don't think those two things go together. I think you can have drama of some sort with success, but I don't think you can have no drama with success. There's some drama somewhere. New Jersey, definitely some drama with New Jersey. They've been in the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. I'm tempted to move them further to the left on the success bar than Ottawa, but I think in terms of drama, probably around the same level. And this is just from what I see online. There's nothing scientific to it. Yeah, I'll put New Jersey there, making the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. One of those being a pretty strong year as well. Nashville, probably, yeah, there's some drama around Nashville. Success-wise, they've missed the playoffs, 2 out of 3 years now. So I'm going to put them ahead of Philadelphia in terms of success. And actually, San Jose is going to have to... We're going to have to squirrel San Jose down into the corner here, aren't we? Does that work better for San Jose? I feel like now you can't see it on camera. It's imperfect, boys and girls. It's imperfect when you're putting together a board like this. So San Jose should be over here more, but they definitely deserve to be in the bottom more. So we will say goodbye to Grogu here, and we'll just put San Jose down in the corner next to the smiley face, which also means no drama. So that probably works better. But we will all remember, because this magnet shows up on the board about once every 4 years. So until next time. Montreal. Some success with Montreal. Drama, you're always going to have some, because Montreal is one of the original 6. It's got a huge fan base. I feel like a little more drama with Montreal than Ottawa. I would say that's fair. Always a lot of scrutiny because they're Montreal. And success-wise, I think that Ken Hughes has done an excellent job with that rebuild thus far. I think he's done a great job. So, yeah, pretty strong rebuild there. Minnesota. Oh, Minnesota's got drama too, don't they? Are they more successful than St. Louis at this point in time? Could I make that argument? I'm going to try to make it so that nobody's like right on top of one another. But would I argue that Minnesota's more successful, since Minnesota hasn't won a round in 10 years, but I already stated more recent is more important. Yeah, this one's tough. Minnesota's a tough one because it feels like they belong where St. Louis is. But I kind of want to give St. Louis that edge. So I'm going to have them a little bit ahead of Vancouver and the Rangers here. And right next to St. Louis. Like that's the right spot. LA. So regular season success is there. Postseason success, not as much. But there's not a lot of drama around the LA Kings either. So I'm gonna put the Kings right about there. I think that works for the Kings. I know there's Kings fans that aren't necessarily happy with the way some of the things have gone. But we haven't seen so much drama with the Kings on or off the ice. I think the biggest drama with them is they can't beat Edmonton in the playoffs. Outside of that, not really. Florida. Everybody has an opinion on Florida. And there's always drama with Florida. And now that they've won back-to-back Stanley Cups, yeah, they belong right in that top corner. That's where they belong. That's their spot. I could try to make an argument for them not being in the top corner, but not seriously. Not with a straight face. So, Florida, success and drama right there. Although, it's a different kind of drama than we see with Toronto. And that's why I'm keeping it kind of nebulous. I thought about doing different kinds of drama, but that would be a totally different video. It does not work for this kind of setup. The Oilers, a lot of drama around the Oilers as well. Success is there. Not Stanley Cup level success. But I'll put the Oilers a little bit ahead of Vegas. Because we keep talking about the Oilers, don't we? They made it to the final in back-to-back years. Not a lot of teams have ever done that. But missing that chance to hold up the Stanley Cup both years back-to-back really hurts. And now there's all the discussions about McDavid. We know McDavid's probably going to sign. He's going to re-sign. He's going to stay in Edmonton, isn't he? But until he does, we can still have that discussion. Detroit, not a lot in terms of success. Definitely drama with Detroit. I'm going to put them here. Detroit hasn't made the playoffs in a long while. It feels like they've been trending in that direction, but they've been trending in that direction for a while. So, yeah, Detroit, there's going to be that drama. I think it's interesting. So the original 6 teams on the board so far, all pretty high on the drama side of things. We've always got a lot of media following, a lot of fans that support these teams, and so you end up with some drama associated with that. Sometimes it's to drum up clicks, right? Like, well, we need to drum up these clicks, so there you go. Dallas. Dallas has had success, not Stanley Cup final success, of course. Drama-wise, Dallas doesn't have that level of intensity that some other organizations have. I kind of feel like they belong right in here, right in that sweet spot between Tampa and the Capitals. So success is there, not Stanley Cup success, not Stanley Cup winning success anyways. And the drama level I don't feel like is as high with Dallas as it is with others. If Pete DeBoer was still going to be in Dallas, then we'd have something else to discuss. Just like if Tortorella was still in Philly, Philly'd probably be higher up on the board. But with Glenn Gulletson taking over in Dallas, I think that takes the temperature down. Columbus, I don't know how much drama there is in Columbus. And in terms of success, there hasn't been a lot of it on the ice, but there hasn't been so much drama either. And I'm not qualifying tragic circumstances that have occurred over the last few years as being drama. That's something completely different. So for me with Columbus, I'm going to put them down here. I think they're trending in the right direction. They were very close to making the playoffs this past season. They did not quite get there. Colorado. And Colorado has drama, but they also have success in recent seasons, 2022. That's recent enough that I'm going to put them in the first column, because the Stanley Cup win is a Stanley Cup win. But I'd say they're more dramatic than Tampa, not as dramatic as Vegas or Florida. But you have a Stanley Cup in the last 4 years. I think that's a good spot for you. So not too shabby. 3 years ago, of course, being the Stanley Cup champions. Chicago, not a lot of success at this point in time. Drama, though, there's usually drama around Chicago. So I would say for Chicago, I'm going to put them here in terms of drama. Not quite Montreal level, but higher than Ottawa, New Jersey, Winnipeg, and Colorado. Yeah, which means I got to move the happy face now and move San Jose all the way to this back end here and move the happy face here. Which means people who've been watching from the start until now will understand what happened in this corner. People who fast forward to the end are going to be like, what's the happy face for? Yeah, you fast forwarded to the end, didn't you? All right, but yeah, Chicago, I'm going to put them there. Carolina, definitely some drama around Carolina because repeated success will happen. Would I put that ahead of Winnipeg's right now? A little bit, yeah. Signing Nick Ehlers, some pressure on this team. I do think that there's more moves to be made. Brind'Amour hasn't got them that level of success yet that they're looking for. So I do think Carolina, there's some drama there. Definitely some success. Getting the conference finals is not a fail, but trying to get past the conference finals and not getting anywhere with that is an issue for Carolina at this point in time. Calgary. Not a lot of drama with Calgary at this point in time. I really don't see it. For success, I'm going to put them here because they did stay in the hunt for a playoff spot for quite some time this season. They ultimately did miss, so I can't really put them in the same area as like Minnesota, but I don't see a lot of drama. Yes, Anderson is very likely to be traded, but I don't see that being a dramatic thing as much as this is what's going to happen with another high-profile pending unrestricted free agent for Calgary as they continue to go through this retooling process. Oh, Buffalo. Oh boy. I'm gonna be generous with this. I'm gonna put Buffalo here between Chicago and Philly. I'm gonna say that Chicago has more drama because there are a lot of people, I think, Buffalo fans who don't have a lot of hope right now that this team's going to turn things around. If there was hope this team would turn things around, maybe I'd put them ahead of Chicago. But at this point, there's a lot of, I think, numb fans in that market. And I do feel bad for them. I hope things get better coming from dramatic without a lot of success Vancouver market. And so, yeah, that's where I would put Buffalo. Boston. There's always drama around Boston, but the success level based on this past season, I'm going to put it here. They haven't had playoff success either in recent seasons when they've been in the playoffs, so I'm going to put Boston here. The drama is always going to be there. There's always that dislike for Tom Sweeney. Not even Tim Sweeney, which was an actual Sweeney. Or Don Sweeney, this is the actual Sweeney. No, Tom Sweeney. Here you go. So if your name's Tom Sweeney, congratulations. You got a shout out from THG. Yeah, I'm going to put Boston there. There's always the Don Sweeney comments, the Cam Neely comments. And yeah, so I'm going to put Boston there. Anaheim, not a lot of drama with Anaheim, is there? And success, not so much at this point in time. I'm going to put Anaheim with less drama than Columbus, but a little bit ahead of these teams on the board because it does feel like Anaheim's getting it together and they're trending in the right direction. So look at that. Cool. I really thought I was going to have a hard time getting these all into positions where I felt pretty comfortable. But yeah, Florida, the most success, and there's a lot of drama around Florida at this point in time. Back-to-back Stanley Cup championships will do that. A lot of drama with Toronto and Vancouver at most times. And so, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this chart. Tell me what's wrong with it. There you go. The internet will always tell me where I got it all wrong, even though this is just a fun thing. It's similar to a panic index, thus the panic magnet being on the board, and definitely panic is part of the drama that might be in a market. But it might be drama surrounding that team. It might be drama on, off the ice, that kind of thing. And so I just kind of made it something that was a little less specific, and I'll get into more specifics in another video later in the summer. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.